friends, and welcome back to my podcast, Quest for You. Conflict. Who likes conflict? Such a broad term for so many possible scenarios. For me, I know when conflict has arrived is when I feel my heart rate going up. Adrenaline rushes through my veins, and I feel tense. The peace and the calm is gone, and here we go, conflict. Now what? A conflict arising is a moment where a lot is at stake. Imagine yourself, you're suddenly coming to an intersection with many different paths to choose from. Everything comes to a halt, and suddenly you have to decide how to react, which direction to go to. Conflict can arise anytime, anywhere. There are the obvious places, work, home, school, but it can also hit you totally by surprise, in a store with a clerk or on the phone with your wireless provider. Conflict is any situation where two or more people don't agree on an issue. We cannot avoid conflict. It is part of life, unfortunately. However, I believe the more effective we become at handling conflict, the less it will disrupt us in a negative way. Because conflict doesn't have to be bad. In fact, conflict, just like the intersection, is a point where change and growth is possible. Conflict often arises because we express a certain belief or opinion. Sometimes we do it more effectively than other times. But if handled properly, conflict can lead to more productive outcomes than before. It can improve relationships with other people and even change our opinion on certain things. I believe that every conflicting situation should lead to 3 end results. The people involved should strive to come to an agreement. And ideally, this agreement is reached in an efficient manner, meaning it doesn't take months or years. And whatever the outcome is, it should contribute to an improved, or at least not a damaged relationship. For this to happen, you need to go in with the right mindset. Some people go into every conflict with a fight mindset. You can see it when you watch them carefully. They turn red, they get intense, and they gear themselves up for fight. And the first response out of their mouth is often a defense, an argument, or some form of insult. I'm sure you agree that it is hard to reach a productive resolution with people like that. So I want to encourage you, all my listeners today. Let's change our mindsets around conflict. Let's make the world a better place by trying to reach agreements even in the most difficult situations. Even if the agreement is just a settlement or a calm and reasoned acknowledgement that you cannot come to an agreement. All without blowing up, without insulting the other person or deeming them as evil. Let's try to have more productive conflicts because I think they can really improve our lives. I can think of several people in my life right now with whom a good conflict could really improve our relationship. So many things are simmering below the surface and never get addressed. We retreat into silence, we ignore or we forget, or we simply accept to live with it. And because of that, we're unable to take the relationship to a deeper and more meaningful level. I think a lot goes back to our fear of conflict. We don't like to mess with what is, no matter how dysfunctional it is. So we rather content ourselves with the imperfect scenario. But if we can change our mindset of conflict, then we may be able to have more courage to approach it. Go into conflict optimistically. Instead of, here we go again, try, maybe today we can really discuss this issue and figure it out. Look at it as an opportunity for something better to come out of it. A favorable resolution that suits both of you and leaves you in a better place. Seeing conflict in a pessimistic light, as a confrontation, an attack, a fight, leaves you with little else than a self-defense. But when you change your perspective and accept that there is a problem at hand that requires resolving, then you prime yourself to come up with better responses. Look for a win-win outcome. This involves that you take into account not just your own interests, but also the other side. It removes the me against you mindset and allows you to be more flexible. Focusing on win-win keeps your eye on an outcome that benefits both, while at the same time keeping your interests in mind. You see, productive conflict is not about giving yourself up and giving in to the other person. It's achieving your goals while also helping the other person achieve theirs. Amazingly, this is often quite possible because we don't all want the same thing in the same way. So focusing on mutually beneficial outcomes also removes the emotional aspect that ruins so many conflicts. Emotions can derail even the best conflicts. So when you keep in mind that achieving a desired outcome is a higher priority than feeding your ego, then you can keep emotions at bay. It gives you a pragmatic perspective on the situation rather than skewing your perception. It allows you to distance yourself from however the situation plays out personally and be open to what comes. So often, we go into conflicts with a clear goal of what we want the outcome to be. We are so fixated on this and become fierce trying to achieve it. And when it looks like we're not winning the battle, we resort to increasingly lower behaviors, all with the result to get us what we want. And then things escalate. We lose control over ourselves and we don't accomplish anything. In the end, we regret what we said and can't quite figure out how it all spun out of control. The more we can try to be considerate that the other person also has needs and a point of view, the more objective we can remain. Be open to another outcome. It's no wonder we shy away from conflict. When every conflict feels like a fight, the mere thought of it sounds exhausting. And then it most likely will be a fight. Because the more fierce you defend your position, the more the other person will fight back. And then the original reason for the conflict falls by the wayside and it becomes all about who will win this thing. We're more worried about whom to blame than resolving the actual conflict. So it's best to approach every conflict open-minded and by taking responsibility. Give yourself the benefit of the doubt that you might be wrong, or that there could be another, maybe even better solution to the problem that you had not thought of. Take a step back and invite critique. This sends the signal that you are a mature and confident person who is open to consider other options. You could say things like, "Tell me what I'm not seeing here. What am I missing here? Or what is your perspective on this?" This turns an argument into an actual conversation with room for compromise. And this then also makes both people feel better. Remember, the win-win is the goal here, not which side everyone is on. Focus on the conflict, not the person. When we don't feel heard or understood, we often resort to personal attacks by criticizing the person. This distracts away from the actual topic of the conflict and brings emotions into play that are not necessary. Hurting each other is not productive. It muddies the waters and it now brings other things into the conversation that have nothing to do with resolving the conflict. So when you find yourself in an emotionally charged conversation, try to keep focused on what you're trying to accomplish here. This sometimes is not clear, so it's good to think about it ahead of time before you engage with the other person. In my past career, I worked a lot with hourly people and had many conversations about attendance. It's easy to get wrapped up and upset. Why is this person late again? And then I find myself going into the conversation all charged up. It's much more effective to focus on the end goal, that is, to help the person be punctual, but also enforcing company policy. And once I was clear about my goal, I was able to have a more empathetic and objective conversation. So the key to effective conflict is going in with the right mindset, with the goal to reach an efficient agreement and to further the relationship in a positive way. When you prepare this way, and you are clear on what you want, then the conflict has less chance of getting derailed. You will be more likely to maintain control when things get charged because your focus is on the outcome and not on proving your point. Communicate your intentions right from the start so the other person also knows what the plan is. There's no need to play games or sugarcoat your message. Simply go in with a plan of what you want to achieve and then work toward it. Your plan will likely change as you pick up new information over the course of the conversation, but I think of it as a compass that points toward what a resolution should look like. It helps you direct the conversation toward a favorable destination. And to end with a quote by the Dalai Lama, peace does not mean an absence of conflicts. Differences will always be there. Peace means solving these differences through peaceful means, through dialogue, education, knowledge, and through human ways. With that, I'm sending you out into your day, wishing you much love and all my best. Until next time.